Shalom, family. Shalom to everybody. I know I didn't give very much notice on this, but hey, this ain't going to be long. I was just chatting with some of my family down in the South, and they were just filling me in on a few things. Shalom to everybody. Shalom, King Wage. And it's nice when you have family all over the country, because when something goes down, you can just pick up the phone and ask them. I don't need the mainstream media to tell me nothing as far as warm weather, because I know where my family is, in warm weather. I have a lot of family in Georgia, and I have family in Florida, and all I got to do is pick up the phone and talk to them. I don't need anything from their mainstream news as far as weather is concerned. So we'll just give it a few minutes before more people come in, and then I will just go over some of the things that I had discussed with my family down in Georgia. And my uncle in Florida, he and I, we probably talk about maybe 2 or 3 times a month. So I can always talk to him anytime I want. Okay. We got about 45 people. So when a few more come in, we'll get started. But I sure hope everybody is doing well. And we know what we have to do. Absolutely. Good morning to everybody. Shalom. Yeah, my uncle, Magic City. My uncle lives in Miami Gardens. And I have a couple of my father's sisters, my aunts, they live there too. And then I have a cousin that I grew up with in Philadelphia. He has a church down in Miami. And I talk to him periodically. I haven't talked to him as much. I might have to give him a call. And he has his own church, and he's been living in Florida since the 80s. Yeah, 80s. Yeah, it's been that long. Wow. Now that I think about it. But we all grew up together in Philadelphia. Opelika, Carroll City. I know exactly where that is. I have one aunt that lives in Opelika. I know where that is. Got a lot of Black people down there. Just like Miami Gardens. Miami Gardens there's a lot of Black people in Miami Gardens. You're right, Queen J. It really is. Them banking on the hot weather diminishing this thing, it is nothing but a dream. All you got to do is look at the states that are hot right now. All of their numbers are going up. I was even looking at Texas. In Texas, the governor reopened the state a few weeks back, and the numbers are going up in Texas. Okay, we can go ahead and get started. So it's about 91 people now. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, y'all. All right, let me share my screen with you, because I just want y'all to see what the weather is like in Florida and Georgia. Okay. Just go ahead and give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Give me a 1. Well, Queen J, I did a video on Massachusetts, but it's in regards to how COVID-19 is rising among the affluent and the affluent and the educated neighborhoods. You know, when they say affluent, we know what that means. So it's surging in those areas up in Massachusetts. Okay, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's get to Atlanta. This morning, I spoke to my Aunt Frida, who's my mom's sister. And we were talking about COVID-19. And she was telling me that the cases are going up. And she said, look, the cases were going up even before the governor had reopened the state. All right. So y'all just please bear with me. I have this on full screen. So if you're typing anything right now, I can't see it until I turn this off. So anyway, we were talking about the weather and we were talking about the cases down there in Georgia. And she told me the cases were rising down in Florida even before the governor reopened the state. And then I was talking to her about the temperatures, and she said lately it was in the upper 70s to 80s down there. So I pulled it up, and she's right based on what, our phone conversation was. And she pretty much told me she don't give a damn about what this governor reopened. She's staying put. She ain't going out nothing. She put it just like that. She don't care what he says. She has limited her time outside of the house to just necessities, which is what many people are doing right now. And she said she is not feeling confident or safe when she goes out there. She, has her mask on, has her gloves on. But as you can see, it's already warm in Georgia. 84 degrees today, Monday 82, and Tuesday 85. And the cases are rising, not going down in the hot weather. So I think it's very clear, this thing about hot weather diminishing this thing. I just think that's a false claim because we're certainly not seeing it. It's not happening. All right, here's where my uncle is. He's in Miami Gardens. And you can see the temperatures, 85 today, 89 Monday, and 90 on Tuesday. And he had told me they've gone through heat waves already, where they had like a series of days in the 90s. And it's going up in Florida. Not only is it going up in Florida, y'all, this governor is trying to hide the numbers. This came out in Newsweek. Look at what this headline say. Florida stops medical examiners from releasing coronavirus death data. The governor down there is trying to hide the numbers. You know why? It's for two reasons. People that look like the governor are the ones dying the most in Florida. And number two, he don't want you to see how fast these numbers are jumping up since he reopened the state. So that bastard is trying to conceal the numbers. He don't want the numbers out. So again, this is more proof that you cannot believe this hype. that the mainstream news got out about hot weather is going to diminish this thing, because we are not seeing evidence of that in states where it's already warm, where they've already hit heat waves. We're not seeing evidence of that. All right. So he's down there trying to hide numbers. So I pulled up, after a conversation with my uncle, and you can see this was published on May 2nd, 2020. Florida surpasses 35,400 coronavirus cases as state death toll reaches 1,364. So their cases are indeed going up. They had another 735 confirmed cases down there. And here is Georgia's number. And this came out this morning. 1,174 cases, and their overall cases are 28,300. And they had over 1,000 new cases and over 24 deaths in a 24-hour period. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't believe the hype on these people telling you that these cases will go down in hot weather. We don't see evidence of that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going up in my state. Yeah, that's what I want to show you. Hold on. I want to show you what I look at every day. Let me just show you this. All right. This is the map and numbers that Johns Hopkins University puts out, and they have an interactive site. This is the site I go to every day to look at the numbers overall in the country. And, they break it down by state and county, if that's the way you want to look at it. And I also look at my own, my own state. If you look right here, let me drink some water. Okay. If you look right here, you will see my state, and it has not stopped going up in the state that I live in. All right. So we have, as of today, as of the 2nd, actually, they didn't update it for today yet, 123,717 cases and 7,742 cases. And over here, they break it down by county. Now, this is the one that the U.S. government puts out. And you can look at it according to whatever state you're in. Of course, if you're in a different state, you would just put that in. But this is where I go every day to look at the numbers, and it helps keep me up to date, along with talking to my family. Oh, I'll publish it. Hold on. This one is Johns Hopkins. Let me just copy that. All right, that's Johns Hopkins. No, they don't report any numbers, but I just look at them just to confirm that the cases are still going up. I mean, even their fake numbers got to go up, And this is the one from the government that I look at. And all you got to do for this one, whatever state you live in, you just change the abbreviation from New Jersey to whatever your state abbreviation is. And that way you can look at it for whatever state you're in. And Maryland Miss Elbone Jones, is like New Jersey. It's small, but it's very dense in population. You got a lot of people living close together. And that's how it is here too. Don't be fooled by these little states. These small states got a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. So I think them wishing for this to go down, and I what they're basing it on, and I think that's all wrong too. They're basing the low numbers in the hot weather on Africa. And I really think they got it all wrong about Africa. And here's what I'm saying it is, and this is just my opinion. Africa has nothing to do with hot weather. It has everything to do with genetics. That's why those people aren't getting it. They are praying for them Africans to get it bad. It has nothing to do with hot weather. It's all about genetics. And in my opinion, those Africans got a better immune system than we do here in America. And the reason why I'm saying this is because they've gone through numerous epidemics across Africa. If anything, those people got a stronger immune system there in Africa. I don't think it has anything to do with hot weather. These scientists are banking on the wrong thing. They are. It's the Black genetics. I don't believe it has anything to do with hot weather. Africa has gone through many epidemics. And each time they have these epidemics, their immunity is just getting stronger and stronger. I mean, it's kind of simplistic for them to bank on hot weather. You know what I mean? We haven't had this thing in the country for years. We've had this thing in the country only for a short period of time. So that being said, it could, you can't sit back and say warm weather like the flu. The flu is something entirely different from COVID-19. It's totally different. Hold on. Okay, I think they're making a big mistake, y'all, with counting on hot weather, because COVID-19 is turning out to be very different. I don't know if any of you saw the recent stories that came out on COVID toes, and you see people's toes are completely changed. Some people look like they have sunburnt toes. Some people have lesions on their toes. And that doesn't happen with the flu. And then you're seeing people say that the brain is altered, the lungs are altered, the heart is altered. That doesn't happen with the flu either. So the fact that they are banking on this to be exactly the same as the flu, to diminish in the summer, I don't believe that. Just too many of the characteristics of this virus differs greatly from the flu. Yeah, we'll see. And another thing I think is a huge mistake is Trump is trying to rush these doctors into putting out a vaccine. See, these folks, what they want is some kind of magic treatment to work. And I'm telling you, it does look like gangrene, King Wage. When you look at those toes, it looks very much like gangrene. And you have to wonder what's going to happen in the long term. Will these people need to get toes amputated because of COVID-19? You have to ask yourself, because you never seen toes swell up and do things like that after the flu. I've had the flu a couple of times in my life. And once I got over the flu, I was fine. I never had any issues with my health after I got over the flu. Never. But that doesn't seem to be the case with COVID-19. And they're saying now a lot of these asymptomatic people in their 30s and 40s, they're now starting to have strokes. And people are having blood clot issues. It's although they're not showing a lot of symptoms, it's like weeks later after they have COVID-19, although they're barely showing any symptoms, they're now having strokes. So you got all these people in their 30s and 40s having strokes. That's what I'm saying. This thing is a big mess. And I'm anticipating the hospitals are still going to be full all through the summer with this thing. Like the flu, usually like around May and June, you have your last few cases. I don't think that's going to happen this time around. Mm-hmm. Mocha latte during this hard time. Some lady paid for some of my groceries and did not want me to say thank you. Yeah, because it's airborne. Those air particles go in the air, and that's how many people are getting it now. Yeah, you're right, Lioness of Ahaya. The blood is not getting enough oxygen. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, it is shocking, but it seems like they're having a hard time even learning about this virus. It's almost like every week the and the scientists are coming out with new information. They're trying to learn, but I think this thing is so complicated. They're having a hard time learning about the virus, which I'm telling you, that's how you know it's of our Heavenly Father, because He is going to complicate this thing to the point they're going to have a hard time learning about it. You know what? What was that phrase? Go look it up. That information about the air particles from COVID-19, that's been out since the beginning. Pull it up on Google and research it. That's old information. That's not even new. Pull it up on Google and look it up. Why would you be blocked, Queen J? I don't understand why you would be blocked. Not unless there's some other underlying reason. Why would you be blocked? And don't always assume that the YouTube creators are blocking you. YouTube does a lot of this stuff too. I've had many people tell me they were blocked, and I did not block them. YouTube blocked them. It is. It is a scary time, but the bottom line is you don't allow the governor to tell you got to go back outside. You determine whether you can go outside or not. Well, if you can't see your messages on your TV, then that's definitely YouTube, because I can see your messages, Queen J. I see them just fine. They did. I'll give your wrench back to you. Let me see. I got to open up my. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm not surprised you're doing this, y'all. Let me see here. All right, I got one open. Hold on, let me get the other one open. No, Boulder Rock, it's your wrench is still there, not unless it's my other channel. But I'm seeing you, and I see your wrench. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on here. But I see your wrench on my end. Yeah, well, the problem with what they're telling you about Black people getting it, the Black people are working the essential jobs, and they're constantly being exposed to it on a regular basis. And it just goes to show you that most Black people in this country are the essential workers. And see, that's what they won't tell you. So, and it's very easy to debunk them too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you see one of our people dying, go look at their profession. We had one die in my area, and I went and looked at her profession. She worked in a supermarket, and that's how she got it. You don't have to go by what mainstream news tell you. Cameron Charles, did you hear about Kim Jong being dead? No, he's not dead. He's not dead. They have confirmed seeing him. He went somewhere yesterday, and they confirmed seeing him. And South Korea put out an article today, and you could probably pull it up, that he never even had surgery. He just got out of the public eyesight because of the coronavirus. That's why he disappeared. But he never had surgery, and he's not dead. That's why I didn't jump on that story, because if he was dead, I wanted a confirmed news article that he was dead. All the articles that came out was nothing but a bunch of speculating. It was, oh, he might be dead. He's probably dead. Nobody's seen him. He might be dead. And I'm like, well, that's not confirmation. And thank you, Gregory Wyatt. Smash that like button and tweak the algorithms. Okay, thank you. And as long as I didn't get a confirmed report that he was dead, I would not do that story. And it's not the first time the mainstream news has misled people on one of those foreign people over there. If you remember, they said bin Laden had kidney problems. Bin Laden had kidney problems. And if you remember, now I knew people that were telling me, oh, he's dead. He needs kidney dialysis. And I was like, nobody knows that for sure. And bin Laden did die. He was shot to death. Okay, that's how he died. But I had people swearing up and down to me that bin Laden was already dead before they went in there and took him out. And see, the media misled people on that as well. So much for relying on mainstream news. That's one thing Trump do have right about these people. They are fake news. That's exactly what they are. And they are fake news and telling you that we are dying the most. That's fake news too. All you got to do, ladies and gentlemen, instead of listening to them, pull open the obituaries. Pull up the obituaries online and start looking at the faces of the people in the obituaries. And look, here where I am, the town is probably about 70% Black. But when you look at those obituaries, you don't see a lot of us in there. You can count us on one hand. Okay? You can count us on one hand, y'all. And let's say out of 20 people, you can count us on one hand. The rest of them are not Black. All y'all got to do, you don't have to listen to nothing mainstream news say. Look at the obituaries. That'll tell you who's really dying the most in the country. Yes. Hi, True Royal. Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't do those stories on Kim Jong-un. Oh, he had surgery. He's in bad shape. And South Korea just put out a story that said the man never had any surgery. He didn't have any surgery. He just decided to isolate himself because of coronavirus. That's why he disappeared. Yeah. Peace to you too, Brother Royo. Yeah, that's why I was like, no, nah, because I saw some YouTubers jump on that and put videos out, and I was like, no, nah, I'm not putting it out on hearsay. And the mainstream news, they are good for that. The bottom line is they want to see that man dead. They want to see him dead. That's why they reported it the way that they did. No, Hudson J. Vernon, just look at the professions that Black people are working in. Black people are the essential workers. They're working in places like Walmart. They're working in grocery stores. They're working in all of the places that are labeled essential. A lot of them are your mail carriers. A lot of Black people around here are mail carriers. So they are working those kind of jobs where they're constantly exposed to people. That's why they're getting it the most. See, that's the piece of the pie the US media won't tell you. Okay, they would have to admit, and we know this is true because we got people in our families that work in these essential jobs. I got people in my family in essential jobs. They have never stopped working through this entire pandemic. Okay, they've been working through the entire pandemic. Yep, I got relatives that work in hospitals. My cousin that I'm close with, she's a Black nurse. Okay, and she's been a nurse for damn near going on 30 years. I have cousins that are social workers. My son's best friend, his grandfather, he preps people for the OR. He still works. And that's my son's best friend. His father works over at the hospital, and he's got an uncle that works around at the hospital, and he's an orderly. See, those are the kind of jobs that Black people are working. And what if it don't prove nothing else, it proves that the majority of the essential workers in America are Black. That's what this whole thing has proven. That's right, Queen Jay, a janitor is essential. Any job that you're doing constant sanitizing right now is an essential job. That's right, a garbage truck driver, that's an essential job. See, a lot of our people have never stopped working. Even when they have shut down a lot of states, Black folks are still getting up and going to work. But see, the media, they're so dirty and so evil, they want you to believe that we just inherently get it more than anyone else. That's why they're reporting it the way that they are. Not one, and always remember this, not one media outlet has said, you know what, these Black people are working essential jobs. Not one. So that just go to show you how deep their hatred really is for us. They won't even, they fall short on telling the truth. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're falling short on telling the truth, you're lying. That's still lying. So if you're not going to tell the truth, your butt is still a liar. Yeah, see, your mother and sisters are nurses and they're still working. Exactly. A lot of Black people, the next time you see someone young and Black die, look at their profession, just like that bus driver. Remember, he was talking about the white woman that came onto the bus coughing all over the place, and 9 days later he died. He was in an essential job. He was a bus driver. Okay, so always look at the profession of that Black person that died. Don't take the media's word for anything. They have an agenda, and it's been the same agenda they've been on for centuries, is to make us look as bad as possible. Even if they gotta lie, just make us look bad. No, I'll get back to my sunburn, CH464. I'll get back to that. Yeah, see, a lot of us got nurses, and I have a relative that's a bus driver. I have relatives, like I said, that work in the hospital. They may do other things. I have some nurses, and then I have some non-medical people that work in the hospital. A family that work in Walmart. And food service, that's another one that Black people are heavily in. There's a lot of Black people that are working Uber Eats and delivering groceries and, delivering pizzas even to this very day. So that's what I'm saying to y'all. Don't believe the hype that these people are trying to tell you. Remember, these are the same people that have been hating us for centuries that are telling you you're getting it the most. So take it with a grain of salt. They just want to seize the opportunity to still be nasty to us even through this pandemic. That's all. Just like the Chinese are now trying to put COVID-19 on the Africans. We know damn well COVID-19 didn't come out of no damn Africa. And we know this. We know this. And they're not fooling anybody. No, the Chinese people ain't fooling no damn body. And you can see they are just like anyone else. They went to Africa and trying to play all the colonial games while they're over there. The only thing them African people need to do is show them the way out, throw them out head first, and stop taking their money. Stop taking their money. Oh, yeah. I mean, but you know what, Olivia Stone, it is falling. I promise you, by the end of this year, it ain't going to even look anywhere the way it looks now. Is going to be the mild version of what we're going to see by the end of the year. You watch, by the time we reach December, it's going to look way different than what we're looking at right now. Thank you, Thomas Israel. The morgue is too overwhelmed to even find out what these people really died from. They ain't all dying from corona. You're absolutely right. They're not. A lot, they even admitted it. I did a podcast on it where a doctor gave a speech, and the doctors are pressured into putting COVID-19 on death certificate, and the person didn't necessarily die from COVID-19. So, I mean, come on. This place has been lying about everything from day one. You think they're going to start telling the truth now? Okay? No, they're not. This is why even the information I gave you on Georgia and Florida, I talked directly to my relatives. I don't have to rely on mainstream news. If I want to know what's going on or what the weather's like or if COVID-19 is spreading down there, I just call them. They'll tell me. They'll tell me the truth, not the garbage this mainstream news tell you. A lot of these people especially look at the nursing home as your roadmap. Those people in those nursing homes don't leave. The majority of them live there around the clock. But how did they all get coronavirus? Because the staff walked in there with it. Or you had someone visiting someone that was in the nursing home with it. But those people already had other pre-existing conditions and they died. It don't necessarily mean their death came from COVID-19. Many of them have all kinds of issues. Well, I got the report from Atlanta and there is an uptick. So I guess you're just trying to protect your governor. Maybe that's what it is. You're one of those Republicans trying to protect the governor. You can only fake the funk for so long. And then you have to admit the truth, and that's the problem with people like you. You can't face the truth. So you want to perpetuate a lie and keep telling people something is not happening that really is happening. You're going to have to do that somewhere else. XXX Jones, you're going to have to do that somewhere else. This is not the place for you. We deal in reality around here, not fakery. You got to go somewhere else with that. Yeah. Yeah. I think the best way for us to get through this, y'all, is just using our common sense. We just got to use our common sense and not just take what these governors and the media and what Trump say with a grain of salt. Number one, they don't have your best interests at heart. They want you to get out here and die and sacrifice yourself just so they can keep money in their pocket and remain rich. And y'all think about this. We don't have the best jobs in America. They got the best jobs. You can be on a job and outperform them, and they'll still get the raise and they'll still get the promotion, and you done sat on the job and outperformed them. They don't care about none of that. They based everything in the job market on race, and they always will base it on that. Many of you have trained people and they got promoted over you. I used to train people when I was out there until I flat out refused to do it. I had to refuse to do it. And then they got other people in the department. I'm not going to keep training people and then you going to take that person and promote them over me. No, I ain't doing that. But we have gone through this on these jobs. You could be there for 10 years and one of them can walk in the door and make a bigger salary than you. Y'all know what I mean. That's how you've been treated in the workplace. You could be there working overtime and doing all kinds of extra things for the company, and they'll turn around and promote somebody that won't even work extra hours. Okay, that person, when the clock strikes 5, their car is pulling out of the parking lot. They'll promote somebody like that over you. And they always make sure that their people make more money than us doing the same job. So what are you really rushing back to? They've been cheating us out of our money forever now on these jobs. So you're going to run out here, make somebody else rich, and lose your life at the same time. For what? To make them happy? You notice in all the protesting, they're protesting for themselves only. They are not out there for the good of the country or for everybody, or everybody's going to benefit from them protesting. It's for them and them only. Yeah. I even knew Black people that didn't get a raise like they were supposed to. I've even encountered Black people like that. They were supposed to get raises on a job and didn't get their raise. See, Renegade 6977, I've been harassed by many of my peers. Even when I worked as hard as I could, I stopped caring a long time ago. There you go. And you're not alone. Many of our people are harassed racially on jobs. How many times throughout the year we see one of our folks go to work and there's a noose by their desk or a noose in their cubicle or by their locker, they'll hang a noose. How many times? And they won't, and you know what? The worst part about it, they won't do nothing to those people that are harassing you. They won't do nothing to them. They'll let them come in there day after day and keep harassing you on the job. And the bosses and whoever's in charge, you know why they don't do nothing? Because the person doing the harassing looks just like them. That's why they won't do a damn thing about it. And see, it's not until you take matters into your own hands, just like the Black man that was on his job, I think, for like 20 years in Milwaukee, and he finally got fed up with all the harassing and went in there and took the people out that was bothering him. Then all of a sudden, after the shooting, they were admitting that he was racially harassed on the job. Thank you, Black Reality TV, COVID-19. Thank you for missing WS System Up. All power to the Most High. Amen. Thank you. You know, after that man shot all them people up, then all of a sudden in the news, they were talking about how he was racially harassed on the job. See, that's what I'm talking about. We have been through hell and back on many of these jobs. And y'all know exactly what I'm saying. Melanated Magic TV. I used to work at Walmart years ago. The mofos will have you work all types of crazy hours, then will steal your hours on your check if you not paying attention. See, that's just rotten mess right there. Now you get fired for speaking out. Amazon then fired employees for calling out because they didn't want to work due to COVID-19. People are walking in there and infecting people at the warehouse. They fired those people. That's why I'm saying, even if you show loyalty and go to these jobs every day, you say one thing they don't like, they'll fire you. Now they're firing doctors. If doctors are complaining about not enough masks and gloves and they're working in conditions and they're not protected, they are firing doctors now. I never thought I would see the day where doctors would get fired for speaking out, but they're firing them. So they expect you to work during the pandemic unprotected and never complain. Because if you complain, it's going to cost you your job. How the hell is that going to motivate people to want to go out there and work? David Collins, my boss at my old job, my boss yelled and cursed at me and she physically assaulted me. See, that's when you need to go see a lawyer. I'm sorry. I wish the mofos would cuss at me on a job. I would have been lost my job cussing their butts back out. Oh yeah, yeah. Bloody Pond lives, and they'll even promote Asians and Latinos over Black people in the job for it. That's true. They will. They will. They'll promote them and they will fire you and replace you with one of them too. See, that's the thing. We have never ever been paid what we are really worth out in their workforce. We have never been paid what we're really worth. Never. And they try to devalue you on jobs where if you're in a meeting, they'll focus on each other and try to ignore anybody Black in the room during the meeting. You know, I got so sick of that mess. We used to have on my job, they had this women's group. And, you know, and they invite all the women and they just talk about making sure women get fair pay for what they do and all that stuff, right? So initially I went and I would go to the meetings. We had the meetings once a month. And I would go, and first red flag, the whole meeting led by white women. Okay, whole meeting led by them. And then I started noticing when promotions were coming, right? They were the only ones getting promoted and getting bigger positions. And the Black and Latino women in the group, we weren't getting anything. So I was like, I'm not going to these meetings anymore. Do you know they were so upset because I would not show up at those meetings anymore and I just kept right on working? They were coming all in my cubicle. You didn't come to the meeting. No, I ain't going to the meeting because the only one that's benefiting from the meeting are people like you. What the hell am I going to that meeting for? No, I'm not coming to the meeting. So they finally left me alone, but that you could tell they were really upset with me that I refused to come to the meeting. I wasn't coming. Come for what? You know, every time there's a job opening, only ones we just see one woman getting promoted all over the place and no one else. The hell with that. I'm not going to that meeting. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I've been through that afros and afro sheen, or you give a good answer and it are ignored, then a white person repeats what you said and gets kudos. Yeah, I've seen that a million times. Yeah, you know, so they're trying to force everybody back in the workplace. So now the new thing is if you don't return when the company reopens, they can just fire you. They'll just let you go and you get caught off from unemployment. So what they're saying is when they reopen, you have no say in the matter. You are to sacrifice your life for the elite and keep their pockets padded. That's what they're really saying to you. You don't have a choice. You got to keep these people rich. So part of keeping them rich means you got to leave your house, sacrifice your life so that they can keep their wallets padded up in here. They're not caring about you at all. But hey, I'm not surprised that even during a pandemic, look at the inhumane responses you're getting from these people. Shoot, first of all, you claim you did everything, right? Oh, y'all didn't do nothing. We done invented everything, but they're sitting there telling us we didn't do nothing. Okay, now here's your big chance to shine. So since y'all are all eager to be out here and do all the work, then we'll just sit back and let you do it all because you claim you've done it all this time. So we'll just let you continue to do it all. Let's see how long you last out here. And I notice another thing, y'all. You notice since the protest, they're not telling you how many of them have gotten sick out here, are they? Black Reality TV, thank you for the super chat. You're nothing more than an employee number to them. Exactly. You going back out there is just keeping their heads above water. They're not worried about you. That's why they want to sacrifice you in order to keep themselves rich. Wow. And number two, nobody should be going out there without hazard pay. During a pandemic, they should be paying everybody hazard pay. You need to get additional money per hour on all of these jobs. Every single job out here need to be giving you an increase, an automatic increase. They're not even trying to do that. Gregory Reed, COVID-19 is the devil's great vaccine hustle. Yeah. And see, that's why Gregory Wyatt, that's why I believe they're saying it's the most in the Black community, so that when they come out with any treatment or any vaccine, they'll come to our community first with it because they already put the propaganda out that you get it the most. And they'll be justifying, well, we need to start in the Black community because, they got it worse. It's just so at the end of the day, they can experiment on our people once again. And no, we cannot be the lab rats. No, we ain't gonna be nobody's damn lab rat. Yeah, I saw that too. Thomas Israel, the Daily Mail said yesterday was America's deadliest day for coronavirus. That's true. That's true. And never forget, yesterday there were parts of the country in a heat wave. Okay. And that was the deadliest day. No, I know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to come out with the vaccine and say, we're going to start in the Black community because, those people got it worse than everybody else. And they'll try to convince you to come flocking out there to whatever location they're in to get those shots. And that's how they're going to try to justify it. Well, because what they want to do, they want it to go up in Africa, because that will then make it easy for them to go in there with their vaccines and start with the Africans first. Being that the Africans are not getting it a lot, they know they can't really justify going in there to those Africans at all. And that's tearing their behinds up. They don't want to experiment on their own people. They want to go over there to Africa to do it. And without there being a lot of cases, it makes it very difficult for them to go in there the way they want to. Gregory Wyatt, thank you for the super chat. Nanotechnology has been perfected. The vaccine may be an RFID chip to monitor you. Mark of the beast. Actually, you know what they got out? They got out an app that it's supposed to trace whoever you've been in contact with and your locations that you went to. And they're trying to get people to, have this app on their phone so they can trace your every move. So I don't know. I don't know how something like that is going to work out. Many of us don't want to be watched like that, COVID virus or not. We don't want to be watched like that. Well, see, Heather, that's the thing about our kids going back to school. That's another way for them to force the vaccine on, because they'll just go up to the school and start injecting the children. Actually, your kids being home with you, they're in the better place. This is where they should be. Boy, we were talking about homeschooling forever. Now you don't have a choice but to do it. This is a perfect time for you to teach your kids history the way it should have been taught. And they can learn about themselves and not other groups of people. Your kids can learn directly from you, and you're the best teacher of the child anyway. There ain't no teacher in them schools that's going to teach your kids better than you. Not one. And that's what Black parents don't understand. Nobody can teach your child better than you. Them teachers up in them schools can't do a damn thing better than you. Not one damn thing. And your teaching will always be better because you're teaching them based on life experience. And that is what your kids need to know. Your child ain't gonna be going nowhere using no damn geometry and algebra, not unless they have some kind of scientific job. If they don't have a job like that, they're not going to be using that anywhere. You ain't going to work at the post office and you need geometry and you need algebra. You don't need that stuff for those kind of jobs. The vast majority of the jobs, you don't need that kind of stuff. So you as a parent can cut all the unnecessary stuff and teach your kids banking, teach them about depositing and withdrawing, and teaching them what direct deposit is, the things that really count. Teach them how to balance a checkbook. Those are the things they really need to know. But learning somebody's geometry and algebra and trigonometry, they don't look. I learned trigonometry, y'all. I learned trigonometry when I was in school. From the time I graduated all the way up to this point in my life, I never had to use trigonometry anywhere. Okay, I didn't have to use that shit anywhere. Right, you can teach your kids about credit scores. Those are the things that's going to really impact their lives. Yeah, gardening. My son used to love coming out and garden with me. That's a great thing to keep, to teach your kids. I mean, look, when you crack open the Bible or any type of biblical text, you don't see nobody sending their kids to school. School was really for them. It was not for us at all. Remember, they wouldn't even let us read and write, so school was not for us. Everybody taught their own kids. Everybody trained and taught their own children. Nobody sent their kids off to school back in biblical times. Nobody did that. So ask yourself, why was this necessary? Who was the real dummies up in the society? Who were the real dumb people? We never did any school prior to chattel slavery. Nobody, you didn't haul your kids off to no school. Yeah, I remember when I was in the 11th grade, I was doing trigonometry, y'all. One problem would take up both sides of the page. That's how long the problem would be to resolve, right? Again, got out in the real world. I never used that stuff since I left school. So, they waste your time with a lot of unnecessary things. And now you got your kids at home with you. You can cut out all that unnecessary stuff that's not going to help them in life and give them the things that they really need to know. Yeah, and look at the strangers that you're handing your babies off to. Look at their history. You'll start thinking twice about sending them back, even if they open school. Our people are not getting stir crazy like that. And I think we should remain in that kind of mindset. There is nothing out there that you're missing. And the way I see it, y'all, we have sacrificed ourselves enough. As far as I'm concerned, services rendered. We do not have to continue to be the sacrificial lamb of America. And another reason why they want to force everybody out, because like I said, they can't do all of this work by themselves. And they have no history of doing everything by themselves. They talk all that shit, but they don't have no history of doing all of nothing by themselves. Not one damn thing. Shoot, if you want us to come out, you want to make it worth our while. We ain't coming out our homes for the same fuckery. As soon as we get back out there, the police are going to be starting up on us again. We ain't going back out to that same fuckery. Okay. How you doing, Pink Meadows? No, because, we know what's going to happen. As soon as Black people go out there in a big way, they going to start all that mess up with us again. They going to start it all up again. That's what you would be going back to. Yeah, Mocha Latte, I did hear about that. Lisa, did you hear about the black man that was chased down by two high IQ and they killed him and they weren't arrested? Yes, I did. That's why I'm saying, well, look at what you'll be going out your front door to. They can't wait to start all that mess up with us again. You know, there's a reason why the Most High separated us. We are all separated. You know, for years on my channel, that's what we talked about. Separate, separate. And I would even have trolls coming and laugh, talking about how y'all gonna separate from us. Well, now we know how. That's no longer a question. Now we know how the separation went down. We're separated right now. That's no longer a question. And just look at history. Once the Most High separated us from a people that was oppressing us, you did not break that separation. Just like Egypt, you didn't break that separation. And it's not going to be broken in this case either, ladies and gentlemen. Every time they attempt to reopen these states, they're going to have to shut it down because of the high amount of deaths that will occur. They're going to have to shut it back down. That's why I'm telling you, the separation is permanent. This is permanent. We ain't going back. It's permanent. Every time they attempt to do it, we're going to have to separate again. Yeah, they will. You're right, Ameria. They are truly going to suffer for their decisions. That's right. It's their decisions to make. It's not our decisions. It's theirs. Yeah, it's not going to take long, y'all. I mean, look, Georgia is already falling apart. Just keep your eye on these warm states, Florida and Georgia right now. And I'm just telling you, ultimately, they're going to have to close up everything because, listen, it's not just people returning back to work. It's going to be a lot of these business owners that are going to get it too, trying to keep these businesses open. They're going to ultimately get it too. And they're not going to have a choice but to shut these businesses down. Just because you're a politician or a business owner, you don't have some special immunity to this stuff at all. Yeah, daughter of the Most High, they sure did make it difficult for us to homeschool, but they sure can't do that anymore, can they? They can't do that anymore. Yeah, it's just funny how they have such an issue with staying home. And what was laughable was some of them were out here comparing staying home to slavery. I was like, are you people insane? But then again, when have they not say all kinds of insane things? Come on. Let's start with the high IQ thing, which they have gone completely silent on. I just find that hilarious. Yeah, a lot of them are not. Once the governor told them, Tasha Langley, once the governor told them they can go out, they don't care now. They're not social distancing. They're not wearing masks. They're not wearing gloves. They're not wearing any protection. And they don't realize their governor is going to lead them to this pandemic. Oh, yeah. They're not saying a lot of things to us these days. And I just find that hilarious. They're not telling you to go back to Africa. I haven't heard that since February. Last time I heard that bullshit, they haven't said it to us. And nobody is coming around saying their IQ is high anymore. So it did get rid of a couple of things like that. Please, these people wouldn't last 1 hour in slavery. They wouldn't last an hour. Please, their pampered soft asses wouldn't last 1 hour. And got to carry a gun to a virus protest. I mean, that's a stupidity, just complete stupidity. I mean, come on, anybody that says being at home is like, so that just say right there, you don't like being at home. You don't like being around your family. That's what you're really saying. We're not all having that issue in our households. Well, you know what? I don't care. They have given several different reasons for carrying those guns. And the bottom line is until there are signs of this thing going away, then nobody should be forced out of their home if they don't want to be out there. If anything, make it voluntary. If people want to go out there, let them go. And those of us that want to stay home and stay away from all of this stuff, give us the option, because everybody is not down with reopening a state. Everybody's not down with that mess. So if you're going to do it, give people the choice. That way, those that go out and drop dead, that's on them. They want it to be out there. And the thing is, I was listening to a doctor about the beginning of the week. I was listening to this doctor, and he said technically people need to stay home for 2 straight years. He said if you just sit home for 2 straight years, this thing would probably be very little of it, or it will just completely go away. But see, as you can see, it hasn't even been a month, and these people are all out in the street screaming, and we have not even been through 1 month. We just got past a month, and they're already impatient. Well, look, they're having problems with COVID-19, y'all, in Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico was just hit with an earthquake, and they had to evacuate people during COVID-19 in Puerto Rico. People had to be rescued. I think they had to rescue 50 families after the last earthquake. And that same thing is going to be happening in America, especially when hurricane season comes. Because they're saying it's going to be a very active hurricane season in the Atlantic. Now, think about that. COVID-19 is going on in the country. And if some hurricanes make landfall, that's going to be a bunch of people that are going to have to be rescued during COVID-19. And they're not all going to have gloves and masks on, the ones that have to be rescued. Think about that. Some houses may get so damaged, they won't have access to a mask and gloves. So that would be devastating. And the ocean temperature is already in the 80s down there in Florida and Georgia. It's already in the 80-degree range. So that right there will fuel your hurricanes. And we didn't have much of a winter, even up here where I am. I can count on one hand the few snowfalls we had, and the snow never stuck around. It almost disappeared as fast as it came. So being that we did not have much of a winter this year, I can see it being a bad hurricane season. Look, y'all, I already had 2 flies that I had to kill that got in the house. I said, man, I am not ready for them. Oh, I'm not ready for them. We had 2 that we had to kill the other day that got in. And I was like, okay, it's that season already. Now we're seeing flies. Yeah, but you know what? They keep making the claims we get it the most, but I want y'all to think about this. What disease came out of the hood and went worldwide? None. None. What African disease came out of Africa and went worldwide? Ebola didn't go worldwide. It was contained within Africa. It didn't go worldwide. There are no diseases that have come out of the hood in America and it spread nationwide or worldwide. So it is very safe to say diseases do not come from us like that. It don't. And we don't be doing all them unclean things like eating bats and rats and all that stuff. We don't do that. That ain't our thing. We don't do that. Diseases do not come out of the hood. We can live in the worst conditions and diseases will not come out of the hood, not even once. But they have brought things to us, like the crack epidemic. They'll gladly come in the hood and bring us stuff. But we have not unleashed anything in the hood and it went nationwide. That is true, Ameria. That's one thing about Black people. We wash our hands a lot. I even remember my parents doing that. When I was growing up, I would always see my mother and father washing their hands throughout the day, not just one time, but sometimes multiple times throughout the day. And I do it naturally. So that's one thing I can honestly say that I have seen. I saw my 2 Black parents always washing their hands, always doing it. That's one thing we don't have an issue with. Even when I was at work, I would be at work, and if I was in the bathroom and Black women were in the bathroom too, they would always wash their hands. I would see them do it. That was never an issue in the Black community. Sorry about that. That was never an issue in our community. That's why I laughed when they were talking about washing your hands. I was like, shoot, we already do that. We already do that. We've been washing our hands throughout the day. We've been did that mess. We didn't need no pandemic to happen to do that. Hmm. Not only wash our hands, but with another thing my mom did, she always made sure there was plenty of soap in the bathroom. Sometimes you had more soap than you needed was in the bathroom, and I have gone in her footsteps. I have a ton of soap, and I just naturally keep a lot of soap in the house. I've always done it. My mother did it, and I do exactly what she did. I always had my own little stockpile of soap. I did this long before there was a COVID-19. Hmm. Yeah, I know how to make my own hand sanitizer. That's why I don't go buy it. You can make it yourself. It may be a little watery than the store bought, but still the goal is to sanitize your hands, right? Forget the consistency. Your hands will still be sanitized with it. Don't even worry about it being a little more watery than the store bought. So what? You're not a store bought company. You're individual in your house. It's a little different, but it still sanitizes your hands. That's the main goal. The consistency, that's less important. Yeah, I mean, very easy. All you need is aloe gel and a little bit of alcohol, and that's how you make your hand sanitizer. So if it's not on the store shelves, so what? Make it yourself. Yeah, those birds are you know what it is? There's a lot of trees around me, and the birds will get up in the trees, and they'll be singing up in the tree. So, they're very active this time of the day. And they're not lying when they say early birds. Sometimes I hear those birds out there as early as 4 or 5 in the morning. I hear them out there singing. Yeah, you can put any essential oil in it. That's the nice thing. I made one and I put in orange and vanilla, and it had like an orange vanilla scent to the hand sanitizer. So, like I said, the point is for it to work. It doesn't matter if it's a little watery or, more watery than the store bought. The end goal is you want it to sanitize your hands. That's more important than anything else. Yeah, tea tree oil is really good because it's antibacterial, antiviral. So that's always good to, add to your routine. You can even add that to your favorite lotion or oils. You just add a few drops and that's it. Yeah, I love the morning doves too. Yeah, you know, One thing about our people, you live long enough, you know a lot of things. You know a lot. And that's always a good thing. Just like we know, our teas and our supplements, we know all that stuff. So, which is always more valuable than anything they can give you right now. Yeah, I mean, you can even make your own soap. I used to do it. I'm gonna get back to making my own soap. I got everything I need to make my bars. I got the molds and everything. I can make everything from scratch. And it's a very easy process too. You don't have to do a lot to make your own soap. Very easy. Mhm. Yeah, and you don't even need a lot of ingredients to make your soap. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank everybody for stopping by. And if you didn't listen to my previous videos, please go out and listen to the videos and put your comments in, share the videos. You know what to do. And also get over to the podcast. I think the last one I did was Stacey Dash, and she's separating from her fourth husband. That was the last one I posted over there. So everybody, thank you for coming by. I'm going to pray for everybody as I always do. I thank the Most High every day for keeping each and every one of you safe and free from any judgment that's going on in the four corners of the earth. May you always have enough food and shelter for yourself and your families. And just remain strong. Keep your immune system strong, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Shay Chosen One, for the super sticker. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day. We'll definitely be doing this again. Like I said, I'm definitely keep track of the warmer states right now, Georgia and Florida. And I may add some more states as I go along, so we can see how this thing is absolutely not diminishing in warm weather. Peace, family.